Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. After years off due to COVID, Italy and the U.S. have reunited again right here in Corning. The Italian-American exchange program Sister Cities has come back. Our Maggie Hall was there for the reunion.
A delegation from San Giovanni Valderno arrived in Corning today to renew the bond of the two sister cities. The group was escorted to Corning Painted Post High School by a Corning police escort. Once at the high school, they received a warm welcome. For members of the Sister Cities Club, this is the first time they've been reunited since before COVID. Valentina Vadi, San Giovanni Valderno's mayor, along with other members of the city, were given a tour of Corning Painted Post High School. State Assemblyman Phil Palmisano presented both Mayor Valentina and Corning Mayor Bill Boland with official proclamations from the New York State Legislature.
So I do have a special presentation that I'd like to provide to both mayors, an official proclamation from the New York State Assembly, and I have two of them, one for each. I just want to present this to you to celebrate your friendship, your collaboration, your partnership.
That there have been almost 10 visits between the two countries, adult and student, and retaining this relationship over 20 years is just amazing.
Mayor Boland presented Mayor Vadi with a key to Corning and the whole delegation with Corning pins to honor and commemorate their visit. Tomorrow, the Sister Cities document will be re-signed, demonstrating the commitment and bond between the two communities. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
The Elmira man who passed away from burn injuries as a result of a fire has been identified by the Chemung County Sheriff's Office. 55-year-old Thomas Burns was airlifted from the scene of a fire at the garage he ran. He later died from his injuries. The fire was located within TJ's Ultimate Auto Repair. The fire is under investigation by the Sheriff's Office of Criminal Investigations and the New York State Office of Fire and Prevention. The Pennsylvania state trooper who shot and killed a 15-year-old earlier this month has been cleared of any wrongdoing by the Bradford County District Attorney. Following an investigation into the incident, the DA announced that the trooper involved was justified in his use of deadly force. The investigation revealed the teenage victim, Hunter Faust, was armed with a handgun and was pointing it at the officer. Faust was ordered multiple times to drop his weapon before the trooper shot 3 rounds at the teenager. Glove House held their annual barbecue today to raise money for future community services. Our Josh Feldberg spoke with representatives there about their impact on our youth.
Weisner Park was filled with people today who came out to support Glove House.
Glove House is a community-based organization that was founded right here in Elmira, New York. It was founded in 1970 by Norman Chuck Jennings, and the inspiration came from his wife, Nellie Jennings, that they wanted to provide a safe place for young boys to seek refuge and learn certain traits to become productive members of society.
Glove House provides an array of services for over 20 counties across the Southern Tier and the Finger Lakes. These services include health homes, foster care, high behavioral intensity needs programs, and other preventative services.
This is our future. Right here in our city, if we want to change our community, if we want to change the town, if we want to change the state, the country, the world, we do it through children. And I think it's really, really important that we surround them holistically with love and guidance and helping them be able to be the best version of themselves and love them for who they are.
If you want to support the message of Glove House, you can sign up to be a foster parent. Glove House will also be holding a grand reopening of the original Glove House at 510 West Water Street on June 8th. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Elmira.
There were some glitches along the way, but Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is now in his first full day as a presidential candidate. He made the official announcement yesterday on the Twitter Spaces platform. Doug Luzader reports.
Well, this was supposed to be a first-of-its-kind campaign kickoff announced live on Twitter Spaces, but it didn't exactly go as planned. Here's how it started out.
Sorry about that. We've got so many people here that I think we are kind of melting the servers.
There were some long pauses and some vamping yesterday by Twitter CEO Elon Musk before the DeSantis campaign really got off the ground. There was a delay of more than 20 minutes, an issue DeSantis later addressed during an interview on Fox News.
We had a huge audience. It was the biggest they'd ever had. It did break the Twitter space.
The Biden campaign mocked DeSantis. So did Republican frontrunner Donald Trump, who wrote on his Truth Social platform, "Wow, the DeSantis Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch." Well, the DeSantis campaign said it kicked off some major fundraising, though, as the candidate himself went after both Biden and Trump.
We need to win again as Republicans. We got to dispense with this culture of losing.
But DeSantis will have to prevail in a growing Republican primary field, and a Fox News poll shows he's got his work cut out for him. We're showing Trump with a 33-point lead over DeSantis. That's been pretty consistent over the past month or so. But DeSantis is planning an aggressive ground game in early states.
These presidential fights are not contested at a national level. They're contested state by state. And DeSantis does have a good message to sell to Iowa voters.
Well, DeSantis is meeting with fundraisers today in Miami. His campaign says he raised $1 million in the first hour after his announcement. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Still no deal on the debt ceiling, even though the June 1st deadline is just 1 week away. Here's Caroline Shively.
They call it the jailbreak in D.C. Congress leaving for a long recess, hustling down the Capitol steps and back to their districts. Usually it's when they've wrapped up any pressing business, but this time they're leaving a lot undone. The U.S. has 1 week until the government could run out of money, according to the Treasury Department, but still no debt ceiling deal between the White House and House Republicans.
We worked well past midnight last night, and yesterday that was a very good day. I thought we made some progress.
The Senate is on recess and not set to return until 2 days before that June 1st deadline. The House going on recess on Thursday, not slated to return until 5 days after the deadline. But House leaders are sending members home with a warning.
Members will receive 24 hours notice in the event we need to return to Washington for any additional votes either over the weekend or next week.
Without a deal by June, the Treasury says it can't pay all its bills. And there's some big ones coming due, nearly $100 billion in the first 2 days alone. On June 1st, $10 billion in military pay and retirement, $12 billion in veterans payments, and $47 billion to Medicare providers. Then on June 2nd, $25 billion in Social Security benefits.
It would have devastating effects on veterans' access to vital health care all across this country, even past this immediate crisis.
Fox News polling finds that 57% of voters think a debt ceiling increase should only happen if there are cuts to government spending. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
A frost advisory issued for Steuben, Schuyler, and Chemung counties. Temperatures will drop to as low as 34. Plants could be damaged by the low temperatures and should be brought inside. The frost advisory is to end at 8 a.m. tomorrow. We will have more on this in our complete forecast next. Plus this.
In the near future, virtual reality headsets could be on your child's back-to-school list. I'm Marianne Rafferty. Those details coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
As we continue to watch, a high-pressure system, which typically means quiet and tranquil weather, is continuing to fill in. It has been bringing us some cooler temperatures, and we'll note that again with the calm and clear skies that we have been noting throughout much of our Thursday. We'll continue through the overnight, and with those light winds that will be gradually switching from the north to the south, it will again allow for our lows to approach those 30s. And with some lighter wind conditions and those clear skies, this has a better potential to bring in some of that frost development. So if if you have some sensitive vegetation with low temperatures across the entire area dropping into those mid-30s, make sure to take those precautions. Bring those potted plants in, cover up any outdoor vegetation as we persist into this being one of the last nights here that we see, at least for the near future, definitely, of these cooler temperatures. As we are warming from here, today was the cool point into tomorrow morning, and we'll even note that we're going to be back to seasonal conditions as early as Saturday. So tomorrow is still going to be a very gorgeous day, very spring-like day setting up, and we're going to have beautiful weather setting up for the holiday weekend. Abundant blue sky, maybe a few passing clouds, and those temperatures warming, and even by next week, we are going to talk about some summer-like warmth. Now, as we look at the extended forecast here, we can see that even as we roll into June, June starts next week on Thursday. We are seeing that the outlook is showing well above average temperatures looking likely across much of the state of New York. So meaning that average for this time of the year is falling just around that 74-degree threshold. We're talking upwards of at least 5 to 10 degrees warmer than that, and the trend could continue to push on. So even setting up for our Friday, we're not well below average, just by a few degrees. So again, we had our cool point yesterday, and we're on that upward trend with 70 on the board for our Friday. We do see that across much of the area. It's anywhere from those mid-60s to those upper 70s. So with the abundant blue sky, nice and light winds, this is going to be a gorgeous takeaway to start off with the holiday weekend. Now, as we step into that Saturday forecast, note that all across much of the Northeast will be this high pressure system. So if you're even traveling outside of the area, it's going to be a pretty similar forecast that we're going to see. We have mid-70s even building into our Saturday, bringing us to seasonal conditions. Now, one thing to note that as we roll into the rest of the weekend and into next week is that we are increasing dew points. Now, it's not excessive dew points where we're going to see widespread heat concerns, but enough that when we have very dry dew points there Friday and Saturday, that makes for very comfortable sunshine. But once you bring those dew points into those 50s and even 60s, that's when you start to get that summer-like stickiness. And we're seeing that from Sunday into Monday. We continue that warming trend. We're even at 86 degrees for our Memorial Day forecast. So a little bit of stickiness, nothing again excessive. However, those temperatures do continue to warm underneath that sunshine with those climbing dew points. So it'll be something that we keep a close eye on, but it's definitely one of those times where we may be looking at keeping those windows closed and turning on the air conditioning.